Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, in today's live, I'm going to talk about how to maintain faith when being hardcore triggered. And I think this topic is super important because when we are getting triggered, we tend to lose faith, we tend to go back into our old self-concept, we tend to shift back into feeling like the old version of ourselves who doesn't get what they want. And that's why today I'm going to elaborate and share how I myself deal with being super triggered and being all up in my mind and all up in my head, and how you can shift back and how you can trust again after or while being triggered. Before I get started, I want you to know that tomorrow, so Saturday, 30th of July, I'm hosting another live meditation practice, and this meditation practice is about manifesting Him. That means that together we are going to go into the experience and to living in the end, and kind of practicing being there with your specific person. And this is for you if your specific person is a man. So I think it was a little bit of a complicated way of describing the meditation practice tomorrow. But if you want to manifest your specific person and your specific person is male, then you can join. There are still 5 15-euro tickets available. You can check them out in my online shop, and I will put the link to my online shop in the description box below after I'm uploading this live video. Or also, if you want to get your ticket straight away to make sure that you still get one, then you can go back to any other old video of mine and click the link in the description box where it says manifest him, and then you're going to get to my online shop, and there you can get the ticket. If you're watching this after this live event is already over, you can still get the recording, and I'm having so many other services and recordings in my online shop. You can all check them out in the description box below, as well as my Instagram account, where I post a lot more amazing stuff. So, and now we're done with the intro. It was a little bit challenging for me to say it today. I don't know why. I tried to say so many things. So now let's get started and talk about how to maintain faith while being triggered. And first I want to read a comment that I received, because there is already one. Hi, pretty lady. Thank you. Hi, pretty lady. Hi, back to you. So, what do you do when you are hardcore triggered and you really just want to get out of it? Like, hardcore triggered for me means that it's difficult for you to focus on something else. Like, you're with that trigger, and the trigger is really putting you in a reality, or it's making you feel like you're in a reality that you don't want. And you feel powerless, you feel triggered, you feel frustrated. Like, it could be all of these things all at once, or just like feeling sad, feeling depressed, feeling hopeless, feeling angry, feeling frustrated. I already said that. And just feeling like kind of the collapsed version of yourself, the old self who just gets stuck. You're feeling stuck and you don't know what to do. And what I also understand, like when I say hardcore triggered, is that you're feeling like you gotta make a decision, like you're all up in your head, you're seeing like limited options, you don't know which one to choose. Or you feel like maybe you don't even have options. You feel like the worst case scenario is happening. So it feels very, very limited. It's a very contracted state of being, and you just feel thrown back into your old self-concept, and it just feels right out horrible. It just feels horrible. And when you're in such a situation, understandably so, it feels very, very isolating. And you might feel separate, and it just doesn't feel good. And of course, you want to get out of that state as soon as you can. Like, that's what we humans want to do. Now, I'm going to share with you how I deal with triggers that feel really, really bad. Like, not something that is just a little triggering, but something that just feels like that's the truth, and it's a horrible truth. Like, when your mind does that. And sometimes our minds, I think, do that. That also explains why so many people give up on manifesting. I know many don't. But I know many people in those situations want to give up, or maybe sometimes they don't even believe that they can manifest what they want, precisely because they're always in that contracted state. Now, if you're here on my channel, probably you're not one of those people. You're not one of those people who gave up or who never started manifesting, who never started believing in your dreams, which is amazing. But it still doesn't feel great when you're triggered. Like, I think it's just amazing to say, like, it just feels horrible sometimes. Like, acknowledging that in and of itself, like, feels already like a release, because, you know, you can start to understand, like, okay, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person who feels triggered. I'm not the only person who's experiencing this. I'm not the only person experiencing difficulties on my path. No. We're all going through that, and sometimes I get to feeling, and I was talking with a client, I think yesterday or today, about how it can feel so much more trigger, like a trigger can feel so much worse once you know how powerful you actually are, because then you're getting used to being the creator of your reality, the goddess of your reality, and it feels amazing, and it feels like this amazing awakening. And then you're getting triggered and you're thrown back into your limited ego persona. Just that now you're having a much higher contrast. Like, the contrast is much bigger. You feel like this feels horrible. It feels tight. It feels limited. It feels so constricted and collapsed and contracted. And I think it's helpful. First, I already said it, it's helpful to understand that you're not the only one going through this. This happens to all of us. Secondly, I can imagine, and I don't want to say that this is how it has to be, because I don't want to affirm or assume that, but I can imagine that it's also what happens when we're growing. When we're growing, we're just like pushing ourselves out of our old selves. We're pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones and out of our old conditioning. And it's not that we're necessarily sabotaging ourselves, but just out of habit, our mind goes back to the old state, because that's all we knew before. So although you might already be getting used to your new reality, where you're the creator of your reality, everything is love, everything is abundance, there's only love and abundance, you can create anything you want, you can manifest anything you want out of thin air, you can assume anything that you want into existence. And it takes some time to get used to that. It can take some time for your nervous system to adjust to that new reality, to really get your entire body to live in that reality. Like, that's why we are calling it embodiment, because it's not just like I'm shifting my state once and then I'll stay there forever. And honestly, like, if you can do that, I respect you, and it's absolutely amazing, and I want that for anyone. That's not how my journey has been, and that's not how any journey has been from any person that I know. Like, I don't know anyone who hasn't struggled through their awakening process. Like, and again, like, there are people who have more trauma to deal with, and there are people who have less trauma to deal with. And I encourage you to assume that it's gonna be easy, but be prepared. If things happen that feel hard, feel difficult, that's okay too. Like, it really helps me to like normalize it when I'm in that state, to be like, okay, that's like, it's really a growth pain that happens, and I'll try to stay as aware as possible, and in doing that I'll be able to kind of become aware of the beliefs that are creating that state, and next time I'm gonna have that, I'm either not gonna have that same trigger anymore, or it's going to be partially dissolved, at least partially dissolved. Because what happens if you're staying conscious within your trigger, you can start to become aware of your thoughts. You can start to become aware of your emotions. You can start to become aware of the story that you're telling yourself, and what action this is like your belief system is trying to make you take, or what action you want to take from that conditioning to express it a little more like easily. And suddenly when you're like awake in the trigger, and sometimes it's not suddenly, sometimes you kind of like struggle a bit until you can become calm, you see that, all right, like I'm telling myself this story, I'm telling myself maybe a story about how I'm guilty for something, or how I need to be ashamed for something, or how I should be better or further along the journey, or I'm telling myself that something horrible is going to happen, or that I made a mistake. Like I'm telling myself some kind of story that feels horrible. And the more present you are with that story, the easier it's going to be for you to start to melt it away, like simply with your presence. And how I do it sometimes, like sometimes I feel like the trigger is coming up and I'm not immediately ready to kind of dissolve it. Like it just feels, sometimes it just feels painful in the beginning. So what I do then is sometimes I just try and see, like, can I shift out a bit? Like, is it really necessary for me to go there again? Especially if I have reflected on something already. Sometimes I'm just ready to shift out a bit, which is amazing if you can do that. If it really doesn't stick to you, then it doesn't mean that you're suppressing it. Like if you can easily shift out of the trigger and see like, oh no, that's nonsense, that doesn't make sense, that's the old reality, then I wouldn't say that you're suppressing it. It's only suppression if it comes up over and over again and you're refusing to deal with it. But if it comes over and over again, if it comes back up, at some point I know that I have to face the story that I'm telling myself, because obviously in my subconscious mind, I'm believing something that doesn't feel great. And that feels horrible actually. And sometimes I'm giving myself a little space, like it can be a few minutes, a few hours, sometimes even a few days if something really big comes up and I just don't see the answer. Then I'm just trying to stay in my new self-concept as much as possible and kind of observe what this story is doing to me. And sometimes the old story just wants me to like take some action because I believe something bad is gonna happen, or it wants me like to just focus on something negative where there's a dilemma but I cannot do anything about it. And that's how I recognize, well, that's obviously the old story and obviously not something that I want to recreate. So I kind of keep my awareness there. Sometimes I'm sitting with it. You can journal about it. You can just be aware, kind of talk to the pain if you want. And as you're staying present with it and as you're reaffirming within yourself, like, I know that this is gonna melt away. I know that I'm gonna grow out of this. I know that I'm going to understand the solution. I know that the solution is gonna come. And I know that I will find trust again, because when this trigger comes, sometimes it can kind of detach you or disconnect you from your innate truth, that you're love, your consciousness, you can trust life, you can trust the universe, you can trust yourself. And when that trigger comes, when a trauma comes up, it can feel so difficult to feel that, because the trauma can have such a heavy energy that really just like absorbs all of your attention, and the subtle truth of love can become, it can kind of fade into the background because it's more subtle. So because I know that, like rationally in that moment, I know that I'm like, okay, trauma's coming up or some trigger is coming up. So I know that this is not the truth. It still feels bad. So let me observe it. Let me set the intention that I will again trust myself. I will again feel the trust. And it's okay that right now, this illusion or this painful story is playing out. I don't need to shame or guilt myself for it. It's okay that it's happening. Like, I'm just dissolving it. I'm just learning something about myself. And if you can really embody that mindset towards yourself, this doesn't feel great right now. It actually feels horrible. I don't want to feel that way, but I'm going to look at this so I can learn and grow. I'm okay with feeling not great for the moment, because I know that I'll be able to feel like the creator of my reality again. I know that that is the truth, and this trigger is going to dissolve. And if you can maintain that mindset, you're gonna be able to face any trigger. If you maintain the trust, even if you can't feel it in a moment, but you choose to know that you'll be able to feel that again, the trigger is going to dissolve. You'll be able to find a presence, to look at it, to look at the story, to look at the thoughts, to look at the entire experience that you're creating within yourself, and to kind of maintain calmness in the turbulence, in this perceived dilemma. And that's how I personally face hardcore triggers. Obviously, I've shared a lot about inner child work as well, which I think is so important. And I think I would add that too. I have a whole emotional healing playlist that I'm going to link up here. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think it's going to be up here. And you wanna check that out. There are a lot of tools in there. If I forget to link it, you can, because sometimes that happens, I'm gonna be honest, because my videos are getting longer as I'm doing lives and answering questions. And if I forget to put it there, write it in the comments and let me know so I can put it in, and maybe also tell me the time if you just happen to have the energy to do that. Or if you want to look it up yourself, you can check it out under my playlists. There is the emotional healing playlist. I highly recommend it because I can't go into that depth in every video. I can't go into that depth in every video, but I really want to make sure that you look at the tools because they all apply to this topic, which obviously we're talking about hardcore triggers. It's a hardcore, deep topic, and I'm not gonna lie, you need a lot of patience, you need a lot of self-love to really be able to work through those triggers. I mean, again, I'm always repeating myself with that, but I don't want to set any limitations. Maybe, my journey is different from yours, and likely it is, so maybe you don't need that much presence, but still, I think it's great to develop presence and self-love when you're triggered, for your triggers, because that's how you really start to become genius. Like, you're unstoppable. When you can deal with your triggers, you're going to start to be unstoppable. You're going to become genius because there's unlimited intelligence within you, unlimited energy, and you can access that the moment you're able to face unpleasant emotions and not get sucked into them. That being said, I now want to answer the question because I see there's a comment and I really want to get to it, and I only have 30 minutes total because then I need to go and buy some groceries and pick up my brother from the train station. So, Gadeba asks or writes, but how to deal with the 3D actions from others that hurt you? I know I'm creating a story in my mind, but it seems to me so disrespectful what others do. For example, not answering to text messages. So I totally feel you. I know how it feels when you're texting someone or you're reaching out to someone and you are waiting for their message, and either you're not receiving an answer or you're not receiving the answer that you'd like to receive, or the attention that you want to receive. And it's really important to acknowledge that, yes, from your current perspective, that's how you feel. You feel disrespected, you probably feel ignored, maybe even ghosted. You feel like they hurt you. And it is important as a first step to acknowledge that you are feeling hurt, you're feeling disrespected, and to acknowledge all these feelings, because you want to really make sure that you're not just brushing them off. Like, I love that you're asking this question actually. You want to make sure that you're not just brushing off the emotions and say like, I'm the creator of my reality anyway, so I don't care if they are not texting me. Because deep down, of course you want to receive their attention. If you love these people or the person, of course you want to receive their adoration and not their ignorance. That's why you want to start to talk to yourself and kind of give yourself the validation that, yeah, you deserve to be texted back, you deserve to be seen, you deserve to be receiving attention, you deserve all of these things. after you do that, like this is really inner child work or emotional healing. That's really the deeper part, like deeper in a sense, the part that we're talking about when we're talking about shadow work or inner child healing. That's the healing part of the manifestation process or of self-realization in general, of consciousness work. And second thing that we want to do, you still want to acknowledge that this is your perspective. It's still your perspective that they're disrespecting you. Honestly, I was on the receiving end of not being texted back or not being texted back in time. And I also was on the end where I forgot to text someone back. Not even someone that I wanted to ignore or something, like just because I was busy. It happened, or it happens to me sometimes, that I don't get back to messages, or that I get back to messages quite late. And I know it, but still, because of the times we're living in, like there is such a multitude of like messages that you can be receiving when you are active online, or when you know many people, that sometimes, you know, when you're busy, it can happen that you get back late to messages, especially if you're not in daily contact with someone or seeing someone daily. However, I don't want to rationalize that, because I don't say that's correct. Of course, a person who really appreciates you and who prioritizes you will text you back. At some point, at least, they will text you back. So what you want to do is you want to realize that, okay, there's something happening. Yeah, in some way, I'm creating a reality where I'm not being texted back. First, let me understand my current perspective. Currently, I'm taking it so personally that I think I'm disrespected. This is the reality that you are creating for yourself. This is the meaning that you're projecting onto something that is happening. Now, this is the story that you need to take responsibility for. I think that they're not texting me back for XYZ reason, and I make that mean that I'm not being loved or respected. When you hear that story, you can, first of all, start to give that current reality a different meaning. All right, they didn't text me back, but maybe, you know, maybe they're busy. Maybe they didn't listen to my message yet. Maybe they have some other reason why they can't talk to me right now. Maybe they don't currently have the same feelings for me, but they still respect me, but maybe that's why they take a little longer to get back to me. Like, there are many reasons for someone not texting you back that don't have to be malicious, that don't have to mean that they disrespect you. Like, maybe they just forgot. And I don't want to say that that's nice or that's amazing or that's the great reality to be in, but this can happen. People are not necessarily bad when they're not texting you back. Sometimes maybe they are working through their own stuff. Maybe they themselves feel hurt by you. This is all possible. I don't know. And it also doesn't matter so much. You just want to understand that it's your own perspective that you're projecting onto them. In that moment, you don't have any space for them anyway. You're just like concerned about your own feelings being hurt. You gotta understand that you have your perspective and they have their perspective, and when you're saying that they're disrespecting you, you're assuming that they are disrespecting you, and we're manifestors here, so I don't have to tell you which reality in time is going to get pushed out. Now, if you decide to take responsibility, which I know that you are, and you recognize that you're creating a reality where you're repelling the people that you love, you will be able to heal even on a deeper level. You'll be able to say like, oh wow, the mirror is showing me my pain. The mirror is showing me how disrespected I feel. The mirror is showing me how in pain I feel, how I feel like I'm not enough. Because why else would I be waiting for a text message? Why? If you're enough, if you're already complete, why would you be waiting for a text message? I don't care who it is. I really don't. I don't care, because you can do so much better things with your time after realizing that that's the pain that you're in. Your focus should be on yourself and healing your inner child, healing your abandonment wound. And from there, as you're starting to heal it, as you're starting to feel more complete, you can start to assume in your reality. You can start to assume that I know that this person loves me. I know that this person is going to get back to me. Or I know that there's a very, very good reason for why this person is not getting back to me. Like, and there probably is. There probably is. Like, there's so many reasons. When you are really needy and you're texting someone and they're picking up on that subconsciously, it's actually a very natural behavior to pull back a little, because what is actually happening, they're reflecting back to you what you need to heal, which is in the end actually serving you. And I know it's so difficult to understand when you are in need of love and you want somebody to be there for you, but you are getting that reflection because you need to look at that. And again, I don't want to rationalize that behavior, but other people can't really, like, they can't always fill your cup if you don't fill it yourself. And if you hold a belief that is constantly creating the reality of, like, I'm disrespected, I'm alone, I'm separate, and believe me, I know how painful that is. I really, really know. Like, how else have I gathered all these healing tools? But when you can take responsibility and you can stop projecting your pain onto people, then you can actually... This is so amazing. So the person who asked the question just wrote, lol, he just texted back. Well, that's how easy it can be, but not in a way I wanted. Like, okay, that's okay. That's okay. You know, when you're starting to work with that, like, when you're healing yourself also, it's not like your reality always immediately changes. Like, it can happen, but honestly, it doesn't matter so much. You're the creator of your reality, you're already complete. And when you're starting to fill your own cup from within and to start to feel whole and complete, you have infinite time to create what you want. If it doesn't take you back what you want today, you can manifest it for next time, or you can manifest even better the reality in general that you want without any time pressure. Just like create it within and just see it come to you. There's no rush. This game doesn't even really work with rush. Like, I don't say that you can't manifest quickly, because you can by really committing to your new reality, but also there is no rush here. You're already complete, you're already consciousness, you're already everything. So you really don't need to rush through this process. And I feel like today, my energy is in this video all over the place. Like, I'm saying and talking about so many things, like, so quickly, but I not only assume, I know that this video is super, super helpful. Like, I feel that because the vibe is good. Even if I'm a little all over the place right now, the vibe is amazing. And I'm curious, is there another questions? Because I have 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes to talk to you about some really important topic. Let's see. Let's see what we get. And by the way, what I wanted to say, if you are happening to watch this video till the end, which some of you are, I see that you're here, please make sure to give it a like, or in general to give the videos that you like, give them a like, comment below, because I want my YouTube channel to grow. I want to have even more people here that can interact with each other and that can interact with me and that can benefit from the content. And I just love the growing community. Like, I'm really in love with the community that we're building on Instagram and on here, and it's so nice. So if you can help me with that by liking, commenting, sharing the videos that you like and the videos that you think are going to benefit others as well, I'm going to be forever grateful. In fact, I'm already forever grateful because you're actually currently here watching this video. And I have 50 more seconds before I need to go. So, thanks for your advice. You're so welcome. I'm so thankful for all of you being here. Thanks for taking the time to do your inner work and to use my videos to do your inner work. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you want to join the Manifest Him meditation practice tomorrow, then get your ticket. I'm going to put the link in the description box right now after I posted the video. And then I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.